Happy Women's History Month. We are here and we are back with a new Steph Kat talk. Wow, there is gold on the line and there is more drama within the tag team division. This is Steph Kat talk. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs and the Ruben Studders. More once you discover. For all of the lovers, Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers, and Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers, and Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape. Every one of us, I was kinda late, so I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the fate, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta
Hey y'all, good morning, and of course, good whatever to whoever's gonna watch this a little bit later. This is a new episode of Steph and Kat Talk Wow, brought to you by the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and In Cat We Trust. Of course, I'm your girl Stephanie Hardy, host and creator of HWP, HWP Extra, and co-host of this fabulous show. And I am a writer and commentator featured on various different promotions. And yeah, I'm about to be a wrestling cosplayer too, a little bit more in the future, so be on the lookout for that. But of course, I'm not alone. I am here with my amazing tag team partner. She is the creator of In Cat We Trust, backstage correspondent and interviewer to the stars of New York and I almost said New Japan. No, not New Japan yet, rather. It's early. And New Jersey. She is an author with a new book that's out right now on Amazon, and she is a super mom to all of her amazing super kids. She is Katrina. Katrina. The storm is here. How are you, Kat?
I'm very tired, but I am happy to be here. Thank you for the intro. When you say the Katrina, it's because you were the first person who ever done that. When that song first came out, and it's funny now because other people do it, and I
Yes.
had to tell them that like the very first person who did it was you. And then to my friend Angie, she every time I ever talk to her, she puts the song on, so it's like a whole intro before she speaks. She'll put it on, let it play. The whole song will play, and then she go, "Okay, hey Katrina." And I'm like, the fact that you do this whole thing every time is so funny to me. But yes, thank you for the intro. Thank you for the intro.
I mean, absolutely, because number one, you deserve it. And number two, it's just that I feel like sometimes saying a person's name, like a lot of times, just adds like a level of comedy and levity to the fact that you're trying to get the person's attention or just to mess with them. But then also the idea of the song and me finding it was just like, oh, this is so funny. How in the world am I finding this now? And I have a friend named Katrina. But I didn't want to be insensitive, of course, but at the same time, it's just something that has taken on a life of its own. And I just love it. It's just so great. So yeah, it's cool to have a friend named Katrina and have a song attached to it. Just like I have a couple of songs attached to my name. And it's just really great. So it's always fun. So I just love it. I love giving you intros. So before we get into the episode that we're going to talk about, because we do know that there is a newer episode airing this weekend that we will talk about later, I have to discuss what happened last night. At Elimination Chamber, a WoW alum won her first championship in over 14 years, and that was AJ Lee, formerly known as AJ Mendez on the WoW side of things, which is really her real name. But AJ Lee won the Women's Intercontinental Championship in WWE, and I just wanted to discuss it here because, of course, she spent time away from WWE after retiring for a while, and then she comes back to WoW as a executive producer for a short period of time and a color commentator, and it's just so amazing to see her go back to her stomping grounds of sorts, to a degree, and come back and win this championship that did not exist once upon a time. And if you're talking about a way to start Women's History Month, that is a wonderful way to do it. So, congratulations to her. So, Katrina, how did you feel seeing AJ win that title off of Becky Lynch? Welcome to the big time,
I was actually really happy about it because, I like AJ Lee, and I know a lot of people have like whatever their thoughts and whatnot, but I do like AJ Lee. She's a small girly, and I always like when the small girlies do awesome things. And so I was at a wrestling show when I saw that she won, so I didn't get to see any of Elimination Chamber, but I did see the results, and so I was very happy. I posted it in my Instagram stories, like, okay, my girl, because like, that's my girlie right there. But I'm happy. I'm interested to see what they're do with her. You know, I never thought she'd be back in WWE. So I guess it's the kind of the thing is like you don't expect certain things sometimes because sometimes people seem so adamant about not being in a place or whatever the case may be. And then, we were there for when CM Punk came back, and we were right there in Chicago when it happened. And so it's kind of a full circle. And I remember seeing AJ Lee when we were there, and it's like she's right over there, but I can't say anything because she was like close enough, but not close enough where I could have said hi like discreetly. And so it's just a very full circle to kind of know that she got her first title in 14 years in Chicago again. So it just was really cool to see that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm glad that you did get to, see the results of that, even though you were working hard at a wrestling show as you do. And me just seeing it live was just so nuts because on my um Elimination Chamber predictions episode with Bianca Addison. You guys can go back and watch that or listen to that later on. I told her that I felt like Becky was just going to try and cheat to win, which she did try to do. Um, not to spoil anything, but yeah, she did try to cheat and win. And I thought maybe it would carry over into WrestleMania and AJ would win there. But the way everything went with her winning that title, it was just so wonderful. And I literally said out loud, this is for the 2010s because seeing AJ being back there with CM Punk, as her husband now, but then as a flirtation back in the day, it's just like, it's really like a sense of full circleness and a sense of, oh my God, I remember when this was just this and now it's evolved into this. And it's a larger thing, and it's just really incredible to see her and the way that she performed in the match. She did phenomenal. Becky Lynch is an amazing foe to have. She's been crashing out a whole lot, and it was just really great to see AJ win and to see everyone congratulating her and all of the above. Because even WoW superheroes were congratulating her when she made her return in September of last year. So it's just one of those things that you just have to continue to just bask in the glory of this amazing Puerto Rican New Jersey woman, Chicago by marriage, woman making history and doing these things and living in the house that she built because she mentioned that in an interview with Michael Cole. So it's just great. And I just wanted to hold space for that. So congratulations to AJ Lee for winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship. We miss you over here in WoW, but we will always root for you to do great things and for your husband to do great things too, because he also retained the World Championship in Chicago. I think, Katrina, the lore of us in Chicago that night will live forever. It just will.
Yeah, I mean, I know I wasn't really there long. I literally flew in, I think that morning, and then I left like really early morning the next day. So I was less there less than 24 hours. But just to be able to, and I hope I get to get back to WWE again in that capacity. But like, it was just really cool to be able to be there, and experience. And I always think of the guy who was sitting next to me who was like saying, "Oh, CM Punk not coming back," and he though important he started crying, and I was like, after all the smack you talked the whole match the whole night, now you're crying, calling your friends that CM Punk returned, and so it just tells you sometimes just the wrestling fans as a whole sometimes can be very like strange, but also like you expect certain things in wrestling, and so it's always really cool. But yeah, I was always very glad that we were there for that,
Me
and got to
too.
do that together. So yeah,
Yeah, me too. And shout out to Corey, who I met out there with bodyslam.net. We were together as well, and he was
yes, the guy,
amazing.
homie Corey.
Um, Yes, and it was just such an amazing night to have been there for that, and I'll always cherish that. And I said the same thing. I said that I didn't think he was coming back either because I mean he had been so adamant saying that he wasn't, and I was just like, no, I don't know. But when you just like you say, they say never, and he came, and we were there for that. Like that was something I had always imagined I would be at home for. So, um, imagine, well, because it's Sunday, I have to say, like, a double blessing. Like, imagine having the blessing of actually being there for such an amazing moment. It lives within me forever. So, now we move into WoW Superheroes and their last really crazy episode in Las Vegas called Best Damn Thing, and we will get to why the episode was titled Best Damn Thing in a minute. They showed a recap of the beef, or at least the last match between Tormenta and Penelope Pink for the WoW World title, of course, with her becoming that number one contender in that match. Um and of course Lana Star was out there with her, and they showed how Tormenta retained her title with that Styles clash, which is another heartfelt thing that happened this past week, and watching AJ Styles retire. So seeing Tormenta use the Styles clash really did hit different. I was just like, oh, that's so cool that she did that. But there was something that I did want to discuss with you, Katrina, in terms of Penelope getting another opportunity at the WoW World title. How did you feel about her getting a second chance? Because I do believe in the lore of wrestling as we understand it, it's not very often that you see a contender who lost get another chance like that.
I feel like the only time we see that is if it's like a heel, and sometimes they'll make some kind of reason of why they deserve the second title shot again, and then sometimes they'll get it. But yeah, I like Penelope, like, and I know you had like your beef with her. I don't know if it's the same level as it was previously, but I like her. And so, but it was, again, this is one of those things that I said, like, I like her and I like Miami Sweet, but sometimes I'm just a little confused as to how sometimes they get like the opportunity, like how sometimes they get back to title pictures, and I'm like, how, all the time. And so I'm kind of with you there on it, just a little surprised at how that worked out in that regard. Um, but it was a good match overall. It was just, I was surprised because it's like, is anybody could just get another title shot? Should I get one? I don't work in a place where I wrestle, but like, is this all I have to do? Is just say I need another title shot? Do I get them? Is this how we gonna? Is this how it's gonna work? And so it's one of those things where it's just like I'm always confused of how certain things happen, especially with WoW, because WoW's kind of good for this, where it's like, how does this person get back in the spot in the first place? Like, I just want to know. But it was a good match. It's just I was like, how? Question mark.
Yeah, I was like, how too? Because I was just like, if she lost her first chance that she got from winning that number one contenders match, how did that happen? And they didn't really explain it. It just happened. And I was like, huh. And and it did kind of catch me off guard, but I think there is something a little bit different that we will get to in a moment when it came to that match. But as the episode proper did get started, we were introduced to a brand new faction. Samantha Smart here lately has been crashing out due to Classmaster not being the champion anymore, and by her estimation, while not essentially following the rules as she understands them. And in the midst of all of this, she has decided to craft a brand new faction and call herself the IQ Savior, not the IQ Superior anymore, the IQ Savior. She comes to the ring with the Classmaster, but with three newer, actually, no, two newer WoW superheroes, not even another one, because Miranda Mindful is essentially was Magnificent Miranda Mirage, but now she's Miranda Mindful. And we have two new superheroes in the form of Nova Sky and Dr. Pam Demonium, who I think is already my favorite out of all of them so far. Now, Samantha cuts a promo beforehand and she says, "Listen to me. I am your IQ savior, and I am the only mind capable of salvaging this Earth's intelligence." She's crashed out for real this time. "The theft of our title, the multiple attacks by the barbaric Santana Garrett, and the failures of this commission, they have all revealed one truth. Stupidity is a global crisis, and WoW is broken. But fear not, for I have the solution. I have worked tirelessly to put together the greatest group this world has ever seen. This is not a faction. This is an invention. an innovation on the level of electricity and the internet. I present to you the enlightened. Meet the classmaster, the greatest champion of all time, with more degrees than you can count. When she teaches, the lesson is pain. And meet Miranda the mindful. Nothing gets past her awareness. Every move, every blink, every fear, she perceives it and she weaponizes it. Meet Dr. Pandemonium. She knows innovation was never meant to be safe, and under my guidance, she will re engineer the future of WoW. And Nova Sky. In her neural network, there are infinite simulations before that bell even rings. Every single one calculation is not the same. The enlightened will ascend. Bow down to the enlightened, because you are stupid and we are the cure. So, Katrina, how are you feeling about the debut of the enlightened?
I have my beef with Samantha Smart just because she'd be engaging in a lot of shenanigans, but I am interested to see because we are getting a few different stables here in WoW. We have a few now, and so I am interested to see, you know, what this stable do with the guise of being, intelligent and whatnot. I am interested, however, to see what they do and like how this will play out with the other stables because you know just to see some clash ups with these, even with the newer one, because they're new. So like to see how the clash ups would be with other people who's here a little longer, even some of the newer ones, because we got quite a few new people in this season. Just to see what how it clashes up. But I was like, okay, all right, I'm peeping, I'm watching. It's kind of like just I'm interested to see how this is gonna play out with other people, like the other storylines with other stables that WoW has right now. But I do like that they keep building different ones up because for the longest it was literally just you know, the Fab Four, where it was just like it was mostly focused on them, to the far as being like a stable, and having somebody kind of in charge of them as a stable. With Lana. Um, so I'm interested to see how this plays out with other people and the other ladies in the locker room.
Yeah, like I'm interested to see how it plays out too, because it's like you said, there's a number of factions now. Is You don't just have the Fab Four anymore. You have top tier, you have Monsters of Metal, and now you have the Enlightened as well. And then you also have the Alliance. It's like there's so many factions that you're just wondering exactly, how are all of them going to coexist, and will they coexist at all before they all just burst into like flames and start fighting each other. And I'm just really excited to see that, because I've been pushing for that for a while, because I've wanted to see the Alliance have like a one-on-one face-to-face with the Fab Four, or even go after the trios titles too. So the idea that all of this is growing, and either member of either faction can go either way in terms of what goal they want to go for, like I'm really excited about what's to come with that. So in the midst of seeing the enlightened make their debut with this promo that Samantha Smart gave, we move into the first match, which was a trios match between Miranda the Mindful, Dr. Pam, Demonium, Nova Sky, and the Mighty Mites versus the Mighty Mites and Kita Rush. I was excited to see Kita Rush again, because I know she does work at her Bully Buster gym. So it's not very often we get to see her on WoW. So anytime we do get to see this WoW OG, I'm really pumped about it. And I love the Mighty Mites. So this match was very, very good. It was very fast paced, and I loved seeing the action out of the new superheroes that we, just became familiar with the Enlightened. Seeing Dr. Pandemonium in the ring, she already became my favorite, not even just because she was just screaming a lot and just being unhinged, but there was a lot to her action and a lot to her arsenal that I really enjoyed going up against Sugar and Spice. I enjoyed watching her and everything that she had going on. I loved her gear. I just loved her quirky haircut and everything. I was just like, you know what? I like her. Like, I like Dr. Pam Demonium. She's crazy and unhinged, but yeah, there's something about her that I just really like. And I've always been a fan of Miranda, and Nova Sky. I think Had a little bit of action, but not a whole lot. But then, of course, um, I felt like the Mighty Mites brought a level of fight in this match that showed like, look, if you're wanting to prove yourself, you're definitely gonna have to go through us to do it. And I never get bored of watching them and their lucha background as well. But in the end, um Cheetah Rush was very explosive with a lot of the things that she did in the match. Once she was finally able to tag in, hitting a lot of her drop kicks that she's famous for and everything. But in the midst of it all, Miranda gave a kick and a GTS, speaking of CM Punk, to Sugar for the 1, 2, 3. And the Enlightened wound up winning their first debut match as, a group. So after that happened, Samantha Smart gave a post-match promo saying greatness has arrived. Santana Garrett, you barbarian, you struck me with a book and thought you hurt me. You actually inspired me. You enlightened me. So tonight I would like to thank you because for once in your life, you are adding value to this world. So you know what? I honestly wish you good luck tonight, Santana. Truly. Because no matter the outcome of your match, you will always have the honor of being the accidental catalyst of the enlightened. So, yeah. Kat, how did you feel about the match? And which member of the enlightened stood out to you within this match?
I forgot her name already. The one you was mentioning that you liked her. I think she was really good too. Like I think the beautiful thing about wrestling is there's so many different like things you can get out of it when it comes to like move sets. Personalities obviously is like a big thing. That personality is what make us either love or hate a wrestler or whatever the case may be, or like do a lot. With that being said, I also like when I see certain things stand out in the ring, and I do believe that's what I like. I like that, and I even like as even with Samantha, like her, that was such a a biting thing to say to somebody. Like it's like, oh, okay, like honestly, this is just what I don't think I could actually ever like. Not that I would wrestle because I can't wrestle, but like if I ever wrestled, I would have to for a second be like, "Whoa, what do you mean, sis?" It just was felt so disrespectful what she said after that, like disrespect. It was just disrespectful. But I do think the match was really good. I like I said, this just it made me more want to see what this stable is going to do because I feel like Samantha said some things before, but I feel like she was more like biting with her comments this time around. Like she got, I guess, more people to back it up. And while I know she like before, like GI Jane was part of it, like we had other people part of the stable, but I feel like even with that, it was more of she was trying to do more of that inside nonsense where it kind of playing sides. And I feel like this time she's trying to just lead this group of ladies to see what, I guess to take over, the Wild Lock or whatever the case may be. And so I thought it was a really good match. But I again, it was like, I was like, Jesus, like you had to say all of that. But that was a lot. Like I can be a very petty person, but that was just like a lot. I'm like, damn, like what do you say after that? What do you say after that? You gotta kind of go back to the drawing board and be like, what can I respond to this in a way where it wasn't this disrespectful? I mean, it was a good after promo. It was just like, I was like, oh damn, okay, I'll give it to you. You got it this time. You got it. But I did enjoy the match. I do think the match was good, and it was really nice to see Kita Rush. After it's always nice to see her when it's been a little bit when she's not on the TV screens. And I know she's a busy girl, a busy lady, and she's also one of the OGs. And so it's always nice to see our fellow black lady, black ladies do what they do in wrestling. And so it was really good to see her. But I thought the match was really good. But like I said, this made me feel like, okay, I really, really want to see what they do in Wild now because I feel like Samantha, she got a whole new attitude, like a boost of an attitude because now she felt like she has some people who can maybe back up what she's saying. That's what I got from that, like after promo. Like she's gonna I can back this up now. I'm gonna talk my shit, and I felt like that's what she was saying. It was just such a such a biting thing to say to somebody, but it was like, okay, I'm watching. Like the eye emojis. I'm watching. I'm gonna see what you guys do with this.
Yeah, like Samantha has reached a level of crash out and anger that I think we have not seen since we've started watching WoW because The idea that you would be so angry and so petty enough to come at Santana for using a book that you brought in the ring to even up the odds is just really nuts. And she was just saying, look, you don't even have any value outside of the value that I'm giving you. Like, she was really rude. And she's just reached a level of craziness that I just don't think we have seen before. And I feel like her crafting this faction now is just only proof of how, how important it is that she wants dominance and she just wants people to kowtow to everything that she's wanted. So I just, yes, Samantha has really lost it and she's off her rocker. So with that in mind, I think we should book Samantha Smart versus Santana Garrett, because if you want to talk trash to me like that, then you got to run them hands. So, um, wow, people, if you're watching this, book Santana versus Samantha. We will um call it down the middle. We'll talk about it down the middle. That's something I want to see now at this point. So yeah. Um but yeah, the enlightened is here and they're a very dominant force. And it was good to also see Miranda the Mindful be a bit more in action in this match too, because she was someone who we had not seen in a minute, but I guess this is why. She was essentially crafting a new persona. So seeing her, deliver the way she did in the match and end it with a victory was just really cool too. So I'm pumped about the Enlightened, and Dr. Pam is definitely my fave out of that group. No shade to the Classmaster, because we have spent more time with the Classmaster and we know her and we love her too. But Dr. Pam, yeah. There's something about her that I just really love. So after that point, Santana did have a promo backstage, and she said that she was ready to fight and face off against Catalina Speed for the very first time. And she noted that Catalina might be feisty and quick, but she wants to see if she could keep up with her as, the real life superhero. Which leads us into the second match of this episode, which was Santana Garrett versus Catalina Speed, who, of course, is now aligned with Vicious Veronica Varoon. And I really think they need to come up with a team name. I think their team name should be Vroom Speed. I feel like that would be a cute name for them.
I respect it.
So, yeah, Team Vroom Speed it just makes sense to me, because it's like vroom, like that's speed. Whenever you hear a car moving like that, that's when you know it should be going like really, really fast. Like Vroom Speed, I like it. In this match, there was a bit more aggression that we saw out of Catalina when it came to wanting to prove herself against Santana Garrett with their lockup. She mushed Santana's face when she backed her up into the corner. She was mocking her a lot of the time, saying, yeah, look at me, and all this other stuff, which was different from how we were introduced to her initially. Not saying that she was just like super sweet or anything, but at the same time, there's a lot more edge to her now that she's hooked up with V3. So Santana was actually able to reverse a wrist lock that Catalina put on her with some agility, with some backflips, and she gave her an eat defeat fairly early in the match with an arm drag series. But then Catalina splashed her knees into Santana, and then she drop kicked and stomped Santana into the rope. And V3 wanted to interfere with the match with a few times, but not like a whole lot. It's not like she's out here acting like Lana Starr. All shade intended. But when she does interfere, she does interfere, but it's not like she does it too much. Then Catalina beat her elbows into Santana and gave spears and a sliding clothesline for a 2 count. And then we saw Veronica riling up the crowd and, just making faces at them and everything. And then Santana and Catalina actually read each other's minds and gave each other like a drop kick and basically laid each other out in the middle of the ring. But Santana bounced back with a super kick, and she hit her rise and shine and her back handspring. And then Catalina hit a stretch muffler submission, but Santana was able to break it with the ropes and then slapped Veronica in the face on the way there. And then she hit her head scissors and a super kick for the win. And Santana won. And something that I'm loving out of this Las Vegas crowd is the fact that you're seeing people get into the show more and more, and they're actually chanting for Santana like as a fave. And I love that for Santana. So that was really cool. So yeah, Santana got the win here. So Kat, how did you feel about this match, and how do you feel about the pairing of Team Vroom Speed?
I like the match. I'm again. This is like I'm glad we're getting more tag teams like options, just because like again, no shade to like Miami Sweet Heat and Lana and Penelope, but it's just you want to see who what more people have to offer. There, and I feel like if you get more tag teams, you're able to do that. If you have more available to kind of see who can maybe get a trios or get a tag title or even get like build up their stable, then this is the way to do it. And I like the aspect of this. I do also agree that I did think there was a lot more fierceness involved. And sometimes that's necessary. Like you could be like the nicest person in the world and be the sweetest wrestler in the world, but sometimes you got to let people know, not me. Um, so like, I feel like I always appreciate when somebody brings more of that, and not like in a mean, but just like you're not going to be like how we got with oh my god, what was her name? This is bothering me now. She was used to be with Coach Caponelli. She's now with Chainsaw. But like
Daisy
how,
Lane.
yes, Daisy, like how she had to get some fierceness added to her, and then you can see the difference of like poise, but also the difference of confidence when she's in the ring. And I feel like sometimes that's necessary. It doesn't have to be where you're being really rude or mean, but sometimes you just gotta let a person know, not today, and not me. And I feel like this was good for her to do that. But I also am interested to see like let's see if they listen and give them a name close to the one you just gave. But like, or give, because we know sometimes they do watch us, and so like, let's see if they Stephanie's right. Let me see if we can get a name for this new tag team. But I like it, but I do think this match was really good, and I'm glad that Santana won. It was just you know it was necessary. I like it. Sometimes it's just skill. That's all. Sometimes it's just a more time or more skill, or even just simply just knowing how to work a ring better. At least when you see in wrestling play, and I think that's what happened here. But I am really interested to see how this tag team seemed to develop. If they make it like an actual thing where it's not just them tagging at times, it's like no, we're gonna make them a tag team. And so I'm interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that goes too, because it's been a minute since we've seen Veronica in the ring. So I think that would be really cool in terms of them as an actual tag team. I do wonder about that as well. So I'm sure at some point we might see that happen. I'm not sure, but either way, I would be interested in that. And I was glad Santana got the win because she was actually my favorite to be the next contender for the world title. Maybe that's where we're going after we get to the main event. um but when it came to her actually evening up the odds and making things fair for Tormenta the first time, with defending that title against Penelope Pink, I was hoping that maybe it was going to be Santana and Tormenta next, but of course it didn't go that way. But either way, I feel like Santana showed here her ability to adapt to any level of a performer. She's always focused and locked in, and she's not afraid to get into it with any person or any manager that tries to cheat on behalf of their person. And that was what was going on. Like, imagine how sound of mind you have to be to focus on getting free from a stretch muffler submission now, and then slapping the manager in the face. Like, that's a new level of locked in. But then again, there was a level of locked in we saw last night where we saw Randy Orton um basically stick it to Drew McIntyre only to turn around and RKO Cody Rhodes and win the men's elimination chamber match. Like, you got to be locked in this business. So Santana has, all of that in spades because she is a WoW OG as well. And she is someone who I seriously want to see contend for the WoW World title next. She just has to have this opportunity. I want this for her. I'm manifesting this for her. And the crowd is manifesting it for her too, because they keep cheering for her. Santana, Santana. Like, seriously, like, the magic is there. Make it happen. So, after that, we got a recap of the drama between the dojo defenders, which led to them presently at that point in this episode arguing backstage with each other. But then up pops Ariana Gambino, Daddy's little princess and the leader of the alliance now, offering a team match between the Alliance and two partners of the Dojo Defenders choosing. And hopefully that would actually iron some things out between them. And even though Kara Kai didn't want to admit that Ariana was right about it, she said that it would be a good idea. So, of course, within the next episode, we will see how that match did turn out between the Alliance and the Dojo Defenders and whoever partners that they chose. So, it still breaks my heart to see Tara and Kara fighting like this. Kat, how do you feel about it?
I mean, it sucks, but also like when this first started happening, and I was like, the one thing you got to do when it comes to wrestling is you got to have your teammates back, and you got to be around, and like whatever everything that they were doing could have waited till after the match. I said that when that happened, and so like I can understand. It's like if I can't trust you, like when we need to, like it's match time, we gotta prep, we gotta get ourselves together, we gotta do what we gotta do, and you're MIA, I'm gonna look at you a little funny because why would you decide at that moment that's the time to do that? That's what after the show's for, or do it before you get to the venue, whatever the case may be. But as working enough shows, a lot of times if you go out, it's after the show ends, and then you get to get what you need to get and your little snacks or whatever, your food, whatever. And so it's like, girl, like I can understand why they might be into Discord because it's like I can't trust you to be there when we need you to be there. But I am interested to see like if this is going to lead up to the maybe them splitting, and with the two people that they pair up with, would this mean they'll have two new tag teams instead? I'm curious
Mm.
if that's what that's going to lead up to.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's going to happen as well. But the thing that I hate the most about this is that I feel like in wrestling you have a tendency to take sides when it comes to friendships and tag teams almost splintering and then breaking off. I am on, and I'm not saying this because I know her outside of WoW. I am on Tara Strike's side completely because how is it that you have a world tag team title match against the most decorated tag team in all of WoW and you're not present for it? And then how is it that you're going to get mad that Tara was mad at you for not being present for it? Like, no, because my thing is, if you are at a show, and I've, done shows like this in the past, regardless to how early it is, you can't just go around just fool la lying just anywhere when you know you have a show to do. That's not professional. So to see Kara be angry at her over being angry at her, it just doesn't make any sense. And then trying to switch it on her and making it seem like it's her fault just because, Ashley Blaze was friends with her and was there with her too. It just kind of it makes me upset. I don't like it. I really do not like Kara blaming Tara because Tara was just trying to be present for the opportunity and you were just going off and trying to be social. And there's a time and place for everything. And if you were not able to be present, then you really have to, Tara has a point. Tara Strike is right. And I'm on her side if she does decide to leave the team. And if she does decide to be on a team with her fellow Missouri sister and Ashley Blaze, and I wouldn't blame her either. So that's just how I feel about the situation. I feel like Tara is right about everything. It's not all her fault. It's not her fault at all. So
No, I
yeah.
agree.
Wait, Kat, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I said I agree. That was the issue I was having. It's like not like I've worked enough, and a lot of times with the job I do, I am there the whole time, and so like I can't just be like, okay, well, we're mid show. Well, sorry guys, let me go handle this first. Like, no, you do it after the show. You can still be social after the show, or even get there if you really want to be social, then do it before the show. But if it's a tag team opportunity, no. Like, girl, no. And I don't like people who like turning things around and people. That's a form of like gaslighting behavior. I don't even like doing because I feel like people throw words around for everything. And no, just the whole switching thing. That's literally that's actually a part of it, of like pretending that you're crazy for being upset about something, or pretending like trying to change what the narrative is. The narrative is you were not there, sis. Like that's all it is. You were not there, and it's a very valid reaction to be upset about that. And you cannot then say, "Oh, but." How are you mad? That's like what people do when they know they're wrong. Let me turn it around on you. No, we're not doing that. Like, absolutely not. So I agree with you.
Yeah, like there's feelings and there's facts. And the fact is that she wasn't there. And Tara is right about everything. So Yeah, that is a form of gaslighting, and I'm glad that you did mention it. So we do not support gaslighting. We do not support any abusive form of trying to invalidate people's feelings here on Steph and Kat Talk Wow. So yeah, we don't support that. So after that argument, we did see a segment with Penelope Pink saying that she's going to bet on pink and not on red or black, with the Vegas chips and everything. So this leads us to our main event, which was the rematch between Tormenta and Penelope Pink for the Wild World Championship. And of course, Lana Star was out there with her. And I thought of this question while I was taking notes. I was just like, why is it that Santana's aide, because Nigel Zane, who also is the host of the new official WoW podcast, so congratulations to him for that. Um, and it comes on Fridays and stuff. So it comes on after they're airing on Vice TV on Thursdays. So that's cool. And I forgot to mention that, so I'm sorry, but congratulations to him for that. He mentioned on commentary that Santana's aid in evening things up in their last match was, as he mentioned it, as controversy. And I asked the question in my notes, why is Santana's aid seen as controversy and Lana's interference seen and treated as normal?
Yeah. Yeah, I never understood like that at all.
Yeah, they kind of talk about, the interference of heel managers as like it's a normal occurrence and there's never really anything done about it. Whereas it's just like if you have a face that's coming out there to even up the odds, it's just you on commentary, he labeled it as controversy, but I'm pretty sure he didn't mean it in that way to make it seem like, oh well, she shouldn't have done that or something like that. But I was just wondering just the use of words. But that's just my brain questioning things like the unofficial independent journalist that I am. So I was just like, oh, that's a very interesting term of words there. Why was that here? So there was brawling in the beginning. I feel like there was brawling in the beginning of the match because of course both of these women do not like each other. That's clear. It was a very hard fought match. Lana only interfered just a little bit when Penelope was doing her pose, like her cover pose on the ring ropes and everything, but really that was about it. That was the only interference that we saw from Lana Star. There was one impressive part of the match where Tormenta hit a canatotic slam, which almost ended the match but didn't because Penelope kept fighting. And she then hit her passenger princess German suplex as well. There was just a lot of impressive moves here in this match, but I would argue that their first match was better than this one. Um, just in terms of the quality of it and also just in terms of the time. It felt like there wasn't a lot of time given to this one as it was for the last one. But either way, it was still a fairly decent and hard fought match. And I will give credit where credit is due, as much as me and Penelope Pink have had our beef in the past. Penelope actually hit her pretty in pink um after sort of reaching up and I guess accidentally sort of grabbing the face or the mask of Tormenta. She hit the pretty in pink onto Tormenta and won the championship. So now Penelope Pink has made history as a two-time WoW World Champion, and now all of the classic WoW gold is with the Fab Four. The Fab Four is now dripped in OG WoW gold. Penelope Pink is the world champion. Katrina, what were your thoughts on the match and seeing Penelope as champion?
I agree with you that I do think the first match was better. Um, and I'm not. I don't know if it's just it was a level of like urgency or if it was just like I don't know. Maybe it just because again we were kind of confused of how Penelope got another title shot in the first place, and maybe that's what the kind of was playing out in the match a bit. Like just like well, how the hell did she get another shot? And while it is, I'm all for getting the accolades, and you get your accolades, that's, but it's also like I felt Tormenta wasn't even champion like long enough. I felt like there's some champions who had the belt for like long periods of time. And in certain ones, you're like, wait a minute, already they got the title. It's like, okay. And so that makes me sad because we also know how it was for Tormenta, her journey of trying to become champion over the seasons where it was like there were times, and even with her, like I did say like, again, well, has a habit of doing this, but there was times she got another title shot, and I'm like, girl, how? Like you lost like 4 times. How are you back in a title match? And so she finally got it like the right way and actually won it. And then for all of that, just to lose to Penelope, it's like, wait, what? What are we doing, Wow? And this is not even shit because again, I like Penelope, and then congratulations to her. It's again a great accomplishment to have that. It was more of a just confusing thing that sometimes WoW confuses me with how they do certain things in regards to like their title matches and how people get the opportunities at times. And it's like, can you guys explain to me what the qualifications is to have like a back to back challenge if it wasn't like Penelope lost it? Because I know there's that sometimes you get the rematch clause if you lose the title and you can have another match back to back to get it back. But to have it when you're just a contender to lose and then get it again after losing that match is like, okay. And while she did win it, it was also just like, I just want to know how. Um, but that being said, it was a solid match. I do agree again that the other one was a little better, but it was a solid match. And, I know now the Fab Four are going to be on one because all the girls have the gold again. And so we're going to see probably in the next few weeks, they're going to be extra because they all got gold again. And Lana, that's what Lana been saying. She wanted was to have all her girls have gold again in her squad. And so now they have it.
They're definitely gonna be on one. And yeah, it's gonna be crazy. And they did mention on commentary, David mentioned that like how interesting it would be if Penelope won the title and took it to her wedding. And it's so funny because her in real life, Penelope Pink's husband, Dr. Eric Christopher, who works in wrestling as well, they were actually able to reveal that she was the Wild World champion at her wedding, and they posted the video after that episode aired, and he was absolutely thrilled with it. So that was really cute, and very romantic of him to actually do that at the wedding and post a video after the episode aired. So congrats to them for that. But yeah, like with them having all the gold like this, I feel like it just puts them on an echelon where now they have a target on their back, number one, but then it puts them in the upper echelon of factions where all the women are holding all the gold and they're going to be super unapologetic about it, But the thing that I loved in this match is that at the very least, Penelope won it on her own. And on her own merits and not having to outwardly cheat like we've seen in the past. I feel like that's the most straightforward victory that we've seen from her in a minute. And I think that's the reason why
Yeah.
I'm not as upset. Um I'm not as upset that Penelope Pink won it back. But I do like that you mentioned that Tormenta didn't really hold the title for her as long as we would have liked for her to. Because I think there's a pattern that I'm seeing in WoW where it seems like face champions don't tend to hold the title as long as heels do. Um, and I don't know if that's something that you've noticed before, but I just really thought about it. Like, because even when Princess Aussie won the title, there was a moment that she didn't have that she didn't have that she was robbed of because the title was stole from her due to shenanigans, and then she wasn't the champion for nearly as long as a Penelope Pink would have been, or or Abilene Maverick was, or whatever. Like it's interesting how the heels are the champions for a lot longer than the faces are.
Never knew.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Kat, have you noticed that before?
Yeah, I noticed that. I have noticed that. That it does seem like the face champions don't hold it for long. That was the problem we had with Princess Aussie as well. She didn't have it long either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And to a degree, you could even say that with the tag titles too. Like, and even with the trios titles, it's like, I'm pretty sure now eventually, we will see the trios titles come off of top tier, especially with the stipulation in their next match against Monsters and Metal. I can't remember the exact name of it right now. But it's going to be like akin to, if it sounds like akin to a no holds barred match or a falls count anywhere. But yeah, the heels tend to hold the titles a lot longer. And I think that's very interesting, that dynamic, because we've seen face champions, you know, be dominant in other areas and in other promotions in the past. So I'm wondering, why is it in WoW do they feel that the heels, you know, can carry it for a lot longer than the baby faces do. It's interesting. So yeah, that was the end of the episode. It ended with the Fab Four back on top with all of the gold. And of course, we will be watching the next episode and covering the next episode to see what happens after that point. So we've reached the end of our time together. So of course, thank you guys for watching us live. And if you're going to watch us later, thank you for that as well. Watch us on both of our YouTube channels, In Cat We Trust and the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Of course, you can support WoW superheroes by watching them on whatever cable station they come on for you. If you want to give them a try and watch them on your regular channel, you can do it by going on wowe.com and typing in your zip code to see where it comes on for you. You can also watch them on Thursday nights on Vice TV. You can watch them on Roku TV in the Wrestling Central portal, along with NWA. And you can watch them on their YouTube channel as well, as they post their matches of the weekend on the Monday afterward. And just support them, buy their merch, and just support women's wrestling as a whole, because it's a new year and it's Women's History Month. Number one, do that during Women's History Month, but also just continue to support women's wrestling as a whole in your indie circuit, on the mainstream, and just everywhere else, because we are going to rise, because we are undeniable. So, Katrina, thank you for joining me on this fabulous Sunday morning. Tell everybody where they can find and follow you and everything you've got going on.
You guys can find and follow me on Cat We Trust. Everything is spelled correctly except for Twitter because the E is still a 3 there. I have a few shows coming up this month. Some in Jersey and some I think I want to say Brooklyn. I feel like it's Brooklyn. So if you're in the area locally and want to say hi, come do that. I also do have a new book called No Holds Barred. And so it is on Amazon on Kindle. The prints will be available soon. Amazon was giving me quite a hard time the last 2 weeks, and so it all got sorted finally. And so my book is live, and it's about wrestling. If you like wrestling and romance stories, as I tend to write, then I think you would like this book. So if you want, like, so inclined, check it out. It is under K Blake, as that is my pen name. I do not write under Katrina Store. And so, it's on my profiles, on my social medias. You can check it out there. But that's the gist of everything I got going on currently.
Yes, buy her book. And when she says her pen name is K Blake, is Kay, as in every kiss begins with K, Blake. So if you look for her and it's under K Blake, that's what it is. It's spelled like every kiss begins with K, Blake. So I'm so excited about this book. I'm so excited because I love romance and I love wrestling and I love it when the two are intertwined. So I'm going to buy it and I'm so excited about it. So yeah, it's going to be good and I'm pumped. So, of course, you can find and follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy. You can follow the show, The Hardy Wrestling Podcast, on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. Listen to my latest episode, which was HWP Extra with Bianca Addison, as we gave our Elimination Chamber predictions. Some of them we got right, some of them we got wrong. But either way, we love being surprised, and it was fun to do. So check that out. And we also talked a little bit about the Liv Morgan Stephanie Vaquer rivalry and AJ Styles' retirement. So if you want to hear our thoughts about that, then you can watch that episode as well. And just continue to support us in our wrestling careers and everything we've got going on. Subscribe to the Hardy Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. And yeah, just continue to support us in this show as well as other ventures that we have. So, of course, this has been Steph and Kat Talk Wow, brought to you on the first day of Women's History Month by the Hardy Wrestling Podcast and In Cat We Trust. And until next time, bye, y'all.
Bye.